Good afternoon, everyone. This is Pradeep Mal, Ambassador of Change from GETI, Lucknow. And we are very thankful to our mentor, Dr. Sunita Gandhi, for having provided this forum, a format of disruptive education. And we bring to you live educationists from all over India and the world. So far, we have done about 300 webinars and got more than 3 lakh hits on this. We are also into training as well as curriculum. In fact, we do everything which a school needs, a complete 360-degree turnaround on the schools, and we are open for advice if you so wish. Today, in our ongoing series, today we have with us Ma'am Asha Kiran, and she's been in the education line for the last 17 years, 3 years as a principal. Presently, she is the principal of the Orchids Public School in Tauru, in the Mewat district in Haryana, and she has worked in value education and school curriculum as well as robotics. She is a PG in economics and commerce, and for fun she does drawing, sketching and craft, jingle writing and poetry. Today she will be speaking on the challenges of classroom management. Very important topic for teachers as well as for parents to listen to as how this is done. And so thank you very much, ma'am, for being with us. And over to Asha Kiran, ma'am, and she will now be addressing you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pradeep. Hello, everyone. As Mr. Pradeep has told, I am Asha Kiran, working as principal at Orchids Public School, Haryana. And today I'll be talking to you about the challenges of classroom management. Though this is very important thing for a teacher. If the classroom is properly managed, whatever the lesson plan the teacher has actually made will be like very easy to go with. क्योंकि अगर class properly managed नहीं है तो I think it is very difficult to actually match up whatever you have planned. So the very important thing a teacher should learn is the way a class should be managed. So here today I'll be telling you about how you can manage your class nicely. And the thing is ki, whatever I'll be telling it, it is not like that it will require so much to actually do, or you will be requiring something to do out of the box. It is done with the skills you have, whatever you have learned so far as a teacher, whatever training you have gone through. These points are just from those only. But the only thing is ki these things need to be applied nicely. So in today's session, I have divided the classes like for kindergarten and the bigger students, because managing class is very different for kindergarten and for the bigger students. Because though people think that the in kindergarten students are very tiny little cute little angels, तो ये बहुत difficult नहीं होता है to manage the classes in kindergarten. But what I think is कि it is far more difficult to manage kindergarten class, because you can't force anything to them. You can't actually make them do something very strictly. You can say कि नहीं नहीं करना है ऐसे करके आप kindergarten students को नहीं कर सकते हैं. So that is the reason why I have actually separated both of them. So let's start with the kindergarten. See, if we'll see ki what is important to actually manage a kindergarten class, the thing is कि हमें पहले problems जाननी होंगी कि what are the problems we'll be facing to in the challenges we are having for the class management for kindergarten. See, in kindergarten बच्चों का सिर्फ एक दो major problem होती है, two basically. पहला, they are struggling to adjust in a different environment. अभी कुछ टाइम पहले तक वो अपने मदर के पास बड़े कंफर्ट में रह रहे थे. Now they have to adjust to a new environment. तो ये एक बड़ा चैलेंज होता है उनके लिए, और क्योंकि उनके लिए चैलेंज है तो ये टीचर का भी एक चैलेंज हो जाता है, because they are actually not very easy to adjust everywhere. So the very first problem is this, and the second one is कि they are not comfortable with the strangers. यानी जो teacher है, the teacher is very pleasing, like kindergarten teacher वो pleasing और fun loving होती हैं और वो बच्चों को अपने साथ इन्वॉल्व भी कर लेती हैं, लेकिन नॉट एवरी चाइल्ड इज लाइक दैट कि वो कंफर्टेबल हो जाए टीचर के साथ, क्योंकि कंफर्टेबल एज इन टू टेल व्हाट दे आर फीलिंग, मतलब अब उनको ये पता है कि देयर इज ओनली दैट टीचर इज देयर टू लिसन टू देम, यानी उन्हें सुनने के लिए अब उनकी टीचर है वहां पे, मदर नहीं है, फादर नहीं है, दादी दादा नहीं है, तो वट एवर दे आर फीलिंग दे हैव टू शेयर with that teacher only. She is the one who will be providing with the solution जो घर पे उसके अपने लोग दे रहे थे. So to maintain the class, because teacher in any case चाहे class कैसे भी आप manage कर रहे हैं, every teacher has a syllabus to do. वो syllabus तो आपको complete करना ही है. That is the thing. Child has come to school to learn something, and that is the syllabus basically. So there are things basically which you need to keep in mind while preparing for the class. Like before the class come, you need to work on few things, and during the class also. So the very first thing is कि you need to organize your class. क्लास में जब बच्चे आए तो वेरी नाइसली आप उन्हें ये समझाएं कि दिस इज द प्ले एरिया, व्हेन समबडी इज डूइंग समथिंग वेरी रॉन्ग, तो दिस इज द टाइम आउट एरिया, हियर we'll be having food, this is that area, ये ब्लॉक एरिया है या ये सैंड पिट है. तो यानी एरियाज आप बिल्कुल क्लियर करिए. यानी जब जैसे हम नए घर में जाते हैं या देखने जाते हैं तो somebody is actually telling us this is the dining area, this is the bedroom, or so same way you have to actually organize your class nicely and tell your students that this is the area for this thing. I think when you organize class nicely, it will be easier for you to actually manage. और आपको बार बार चीजें बतानी नहीं पड़ेंगी, and even your students will be helping you out. If somebody is actually during a class going to a play area, so some of your students only telling कि ma'am that see this is not time for play and that child has gone there, and or something like that. So if you organize your class nicely, your class will be managed, because students will also be knowing कि क्या area किस काम के लिए and when to go where. So that is very important. Next thing, the thing I was telling you, the child need to be very comfortable with you. So it क्लास का फिजिकल अपीयरेंस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वो अपीलिंग होना चाहिए, बिकॉज वो बहुत छोटे बच्चे हैं, तो फिजिकल अपीयरेंस इज इंपॉर्टेंट, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. बट नेक्स्ट थिंग विच इज फार मोर इम्पोर्टेंट इज हाउ कंफर्टेबल यू आर मेकिंग देम. कितने अच्छे से आप उनको कंफर्टेबल अपने साथ बना रहे हैं. आप उनको ये बता रहे हैं दैट यू आर एक्चुअली एक्सप्रेसिंग दैट ये व्हेनेवर दे आर फीलिंग एनीथिंग, दे आर वेरी फ्री टू एक्चुअली टेल to you. They can come to you whenever they feel like, they can share their problems or something like that. यानी अब उन्हें ये comfort दिलाना, basically आपको ये उनको यकीन दिलाना है with your gestures, with your expressions कि you are very caring towards them. जब उन्हें ये लगेगा कि हाँ that person is very caring towards me, तो they'll be sharing things with you. और जब वो comfortable हैं, see child will only following your instructions when he or she feels that person is actually talking about my good, मेरे अच्छे के लिए कह रहा है और मुझे फॉलो करना चाहिए, and that will make your work easier. वो आपका काम आसान कर देगा और आपकी क्लास जो है वो बहुत मैनेज्ड हो जाएगी. ओके, देन नेक्स्ट थिंग इज कि देखो, जो छोटे बच्चे होते हैं, जो लिटिल किड्स आर नॉट वेरी गुड इन एक्सप्रेसिंग देयर फीलिंग्स. वो अपनी फीलिंग्स एक्सप्रेस नहीं कर सकते. क्या उन्हें अच्छा लगता है, क्या बुरा लगता है, या कौन से कलर पसंद है. बिकॉज फॉर यू टू कनेक्ट विद देम, आपको बहुत सारी चीजें उनके बारे में पता होनी चाहिए. जो छोटी छोटी डिटेल्स आपको अपने बच्चों के बारे में पता होगी, इट विल एड टू योर ब्यूटी ऑफ योर क्लास. बच्चे जितना ज्यादा आपसे कनेक्ट होंगे, एंड फॉर दैट यू नीड टू नो व्हाट दे फील, व्हाट दे लाइक, एंड दैट कैन नॉट बी डन जस्ट बाय आस्किंग. वो बिल्कुल पूछने से सब बच्चे नहीं, कुछ बता देते हैं. दोज हु आर वेरी इंटरैक्टिव एंड वेरी एक्टिव, they do express ki haan ye I like this, I like that, I don't like to eat this, I like to eat this, this is my favorite color, or what they like in the school, what they dislike in the school. But there are few students, they won't be able to actually express, or they'll be having some feelings pata nahi kaisa lagega ma'am ko. So for that, try different activities like art. अगर आप आर्ट इज अ वेरी गुड मीडियम, या सैंड पिट में गए हैं आप, तो आप उन्हें बताइए कि ड्रॉ द वेजिटेबल यू डोंट लाइक, और व्हाट इज द थिंग यू डोंट लाइक इन द स्कूल, और व्हाट यू वांट टू चेंज. छोटी छोटी चीजें, लाइक कलर कौन सा पसंद नहीं है, व्हाट इज द एरिया दे वांट समथिंग टू चेंज, मतलब वेरी सिंपल सिंपल चीजें आप उनसे पूछिए. तो या मॉन्स्टर बनाया उन्होंने, आपको समझ आएगा कि अगर मॉन्स्टर किसी ने किसी स्पेशल कलर से हमेशा ही बनाता है, दैट मीन्स कि उसको वो कलर मॉन्स्टर से ही रिलेट करता है वो कलर. तो दीज आर द थिंग्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू understand ki what the child want to express something. So not every child is very expressive, so that is a thing you actually need to uh, work on, like any activity or any game, yeah, art, use these things to make the child express कि वो क्या कहना चाहता है. Okay. Now next thing is, see, अब बच्चा kindergarten में आया, तो there are subjects like अभी आपने English का कुछ बताया, then they have to go to the next class. But the little kids are not comfortable with the transition. मतलब एक क्लास से दूसरी क्लास में जाना, या एक सब्जेक्ट से दूसरे सब्जेक्ट शुरू कर देना, तो इट इज नॉट कंफर्टेबल फॉर देम ऑलवेज, या वो उसके लिए एकदम से रेडी ना हो, या वो छोटे बच्चों के लिए टू हैव दैट ट्रांजिशन एकदम से इट्स लिटिल डिफिकल्ट. So to make them ready for the next class or the transition, it is important कि आप उसके लिए बच्चों को प्रिपेयर करें. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, बच्चे रोली पोली वाला गेम खेलते हैं, लाइक रोलिंग. सो बिफोर यू स्टार्ट द नेक्स्ट क्लास, मान लीजिए इंग्लिश से हिंदी में जाना है, तो आप उनको रोलिंग कराते हैं. जब इंग्लिश से मैथ्स में जाना है, तो आप उन्हें जंप कराते हैं, या काउंट डाउन, बैकवर्ड काउंटिंग कराते हैं, या कोई और एक्सरसाइज कराते हैं. तो अब उन्हें बड़ा आसान लगेगा, बिकॉज नाउ ड्यूरिंग दैट few seconds they are actually now understanding कि हाँ नेक्स्ट क्लास कौन सी शुरू होने वाली है, and they will be easily connected. तो दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आप कुछ भी यूज कर सकती हैं, हैंड्स अप हैंड्स डाउन, और हर क्लास के लिए अगर आप अलग एक्टिविटी चूज करेंगे, तो इट विल बी लाइक वेरी good for the students to actually transit from one class to the another, because छोटे बच्चों के लिए ये थोड़ा अलग एक्सपीरियंस होता है टू हैव वन इंग्लिश क्लास, और अब वो टाइम खत्म हो गया और दूसरा क्लास शुरू होना. तो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू एक्चुअली प्लान द ट्रांजिशन ऑल्सो. तो दिस इज नॉट अ बिग डील टू डू इट, और इट विल बी फन, क्योंकि वो बच्चों का एक बीच में एक एक्टिविटी जैसा हो जाएगा, एंड इट विल बी गुड फॉर यू ऑल्सो, बिकॉज इट विल ऑर्गेनाइज योर क्लास नाइसली कि हाँ, इट विल मैनेज योर क्लास नाइसली कि हाँ, अब they'll be having maths class, and they can take out your their maths books or whatever you want them to do. So this is very important for the transition. Then the thing is ki in kindergarten the very important thing is ki whatever you have planned, ये जरूरी नहीं है कि how you have planned the thing to do बच्चे वो कर लें. For example, अगर you have planned to do like backward counting, you took the chalk and started rhyming, or कुछ भी जैसे भी आपने प्लान किया, you started. But students are not in mood to work with the chalk or blackboard, and they seem to be bored or something. या मान लीजिए they keep on asking हम play area में चलें या कुछ चलें. तो your plan need to be little flexible. अगर वो प्ले एरिया में जाना चाहते हैं, तो बैकवर्ड काउंटिंग कैन बी टॉट यूजिंग टॉयज ऑल्सो, या और any other medium. Like for example, you started writing and they said, no ma'am, we want to go out. You can always take them to sand pit or in the garden to teach the backward counting. So the thing is in kindergarten you need to be very flexible with the children. If they are not, see, there is no use ki if जबरदस्ती उनको जैसा आपने प्लान किया है वैसा आप पढ़ाने लग जाएंगे, तो इट विल नॉट बी फ्रूटफुल टू द चाइल्ड एंड टू यू ऑल्सो, क्योंकि वो आपका कनेक्शन बी वीक करेगा, क्योंकि आप उन्हें समझ नहीं पा रहे हैं. दे वांटेड टू टेल यू समथिंग एंड यू आर नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग. So this thing is very important that your lesson plan need to be very flexible sometime, and it is not that कि आप वो lesson वैसे नहीं पढ़ा सकते. You can always mold things accordingly उन चीजों को आप mold कर सकते हैं. तो that is very important that you make the lesson plan, whatever you have planned, a little flexible according to the interest of your children, basically the class. अगर class ये चाहती है कि they want to go, बहुत अच्छा मौसम हो गया है या it's nice outside and they want to go out or in the garden or in the play area, you can always take them there, but always set some rules. For example, if you're going out, you can always tell them, okay, so whenever we are going to the garden, we'll learn few of the things, for 5 minutes, and then we'll go to the play. And then I'll whistle, you come back, then we'll learn something a little more, and then you can go back. Then I'll whistle, you can. This way, you can always make students learn things the way they want. Now they'll be having fun, they'll be playing, and they'll be learning too. So this is very important to have be little flexible with the little kids, because it is very, very important. Next thing which I want to tell you about the kindergarten children is, this is the very, very good time to teach your children about the responsibilities, and it will help other teachers also when they'll be going into other bigger classes. So what you should do is label the areas, like for bottle, keeping the bottles or lunch box. You can always label them, and students can't read in kindergarten immediately, so it is very important that you use pictures and tell them, आप pictures जब paste कर रहे हैं, label से paste कर रहे हैं, तो you need to make your children aware कि ये चीजें, this is the play, this is the space for keeping your bottle, this is the space for keeping your lunch box. डस्टबिन पे आप लगाइए लेबल के, दिस इज द डस्टबिन. और आपको जहां भी आप चाहते हैं कि चीजें बच्चे अरेंज करें, रिस्पॉन्सिबली यूज करने के बाद वापस रखें, तो दैट ऑल्सो नीड टू बी एक्चुअली लेबल. जैसे ब्लॉक्स होते हैं बच्चों के, ब्लॉक्स और सॉफ्ट टॉयज, so that can also be labeled using pictures, because if the child is not able to read, they can always see which things belong to where. So it will make things easier for you also, and make them responsible. The same they'll be doing whenever they'll be going home. So their mother will also be happy, and they'll be always thankful to you. Then the thing is, in kindergarten, सेम जो आप पिक्चर वाला मैंने आपको बोला, सेम यू कैन डू विद द रूटीन. जो डेली रूटीन है वो आप टाइम टेबल विद पिक्चर्स बना सकते हैं. तो व्हेनेवर द चिल्ड्रन आर कमिंग, आप उन्हें सुबह बता सकते हैं, या दे कैन ऑलवेज टेल यू कि मैम वी विल बी हैविंग इंग्लिश क्लास आफ्टर दैट, or we'll be having maths class after that, or play or sandpit. So that timetable in picture form will help you also in the transition, because they are very prepared कि next class कौन सा होने वाला है. So do that with the routine thing also, and label the areas also where you want the child to place things, keep their things, either that is bag, bottle, or whatever you want, like belongings or the play area things, whatever you want. It will be very helpful for the kindergarten teacher, because वापस सब arrange करना is a big thing. बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है, कि बस सॉर्ट भी करना डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है. तो it will be a very good thing, and a great help for the teacher also. And then the thing is कि never actually have the classes inside. सारी learning कभी भी क्लासरूम में नहीं होनी चाहिए kindergarten students के लिए. They need to explore the premises. चाहे वो गार्डन है, सैंडपिट एरिया है, या स्विंग्स एरिया है, असेंबली गार्डन है, असेंबली ग्राउंड है, या व्हाटएवर दे कैन एक्सप्लोर तो जितना ज्यादा उनको एक्सपोजर मिलेगा, it will be better for them. Plan your lesson plans, plan your things like that only, so that the child will be exploring the school premises or outside also. You can plan a visit to a market or supermarket or choti choti cheezein. That is very important for kindergarten, because this is the time where you can make them aware about few things. And uh, this is the time you can make the child curious. अभी आप उनको ऐसा exposure देंगे, then they'll be uh, having plenty of questions. Or this is very important for the students, for the children, to ask questions. जब वो बहुत कुछ देखेंगे, then only they'll be able to have lots of questions. जब वो कुछ देखेंगे नहीं, तो how will they be having questions? And but of course, the safety will be the very first thing you need to look after. But they need to be actually exposed to the world outside the classroom. Classroom के बाहर भी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं that we need them to learn. So plan your things like that only. And one very important thing for kindergarten teacher, because being in kindergarten, it is all about learning with fun, always play and learn or something. So, और and the thing is कि बच्चे वही करते हैं whatever they are actually uh, looking around, people doing. आप जो जैसा आप feel कर रही हैं, जैसा आपको लग रहा है, जैसा आप कर रहे हैं, they'll follow you. They'll follow whatever they're actually watching. They're watching you. They're following you. And if you are enjoying the work, you're enjoying while teaching them, they'll enjoy while learning. So yes, it is indeed very important that you enjoy your work. You have to enjoy your work. इसमें कोई way out नहीं है. I agree that there are days when you are not feeling good, or there's something going on, or you can't be always cheerful or something. But whenever you are entering the school, whenever you're entering the class, you need to understand what is your responsibilities here. So now, whatever you're having in your personal life, or whatever you're having in your mind, that need to be kept aside till you are actually with your children. You need to be happy, to look happy, to look like that you are enjoying teaching them. Even this is the only time when basically you can convince students that this is fun. जब उनको लगेगा that whatever you're teaching is fun, they'll be taking as fun and they'll be learning. This is very, very important for kindergarten. So for kindergarten, these are the things which you, if you will be following these or working on these, so your class will be totally managed and your work will be very enjoyable. Though I'm sure many of you are doing these things, and ultimately this is your class basically, and the other ways you can handle it. So these are the basic, very general things I'm telling. But there are, I have seen teachers, they are coming out of ideas, uh, different approach they are taking. They are making their wonderful efforts to actually make children learn things or manage class. So uh, I I am very sure that you people are must be having good um, things to do with the children and handle these challenges of class management. So these are for kindergarten. Now let's talk about the bigger student. If we talk about bigger students, the very common problem is that whenever you're teaching, students start whispering, or वो बड़े puzzle से दिखते हैं, जैसे समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है, और they keep talking to each other. So the very first thing we need to do is we need to understand what are the reasons behind it. हो सकता है कि जो whatever you're teaching is not clear to them, or whatever the topic is very too easy to actually, या तो बहुत आसान है या बहुत मुश्किल है, they are not able to understand. So if you feel like that, तो visual aid बहुत अच्छा तरीका होता है. So if you feel like the children are not able to understand what you are trying to teach, बड़े बच्चों के लिए visual aids बहुत ज्यादा important prove होते हैं, like for complicated diagrams or any complicated equation or something. So for that visual approach बहुत अच्छा रहता है. And एक if you are not using visual thing or something, तो एक चीज आप हमेशा कर सकते हैं कि if you found out कि हाँ भाई उन्हें समझ नहीं आ रहा है and they're puzzled, so repeat the instructions again. वॉइस मॉड्यूलेशन पे आपको बहुत ध्यान देना होगा. एक्सप्रेशन, योर एक्सप्रेशंस while teaching are very important. जब आप के एक्सप्रेशन, if you use your expression well, तो students will always be actually concentrated और आपको देखेंगे and keep roaming in the class. इससे ये फायदा होता है कि बच्चों को आइडिया नहीं रहता कि आप किधर से आ जाएंगे और क्या पूछ लेंगे. और it will be making it very interesting अगर आप अलग अलग एग्जाम्पल्स लेने लगे and that's with different voice modulations or expressions, तो it will be very beneficial for them. और एक बार आप ये भी चेक करिए कि whatever the topic you are taking, वो appropriate topic है या नहीं, या सही तरीके से आप ले रहे हैं कि नहीं according to level of the student. हो सकता है उस क्लास के जो बच्चे हैं their level is little above or low, so that can also be one point कि आप उसका ध्यान रखें. अब नेक्स्ट जो प्रॉब्लम आती है बड़े बच्चों में कि आप अक्सर उनको एक्टिविटीज देते हैं. यूजुअली यू आर हैविंग सम प्रोजेक्ट और वर्क व्हिच नीड टू बी डन इन ग्रुप्स. So जब आप whenever you are giving anything in group, there are students who keep on talking और बहुत ही irrelevant चीजें लेकर डिस्कस करने लग जाएंगे and then जो उसका ऑब्जेक्टिव है वो नेग्लेक्ट करते हैं. So इसका भी रीजन ये हो सकता है कि या तो वो इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है, या दे हैव नो क्लू व्हाट टू डू, या दे नीड टू बी मोटिवेटेड, या ग्रुप अप्रोप्रिएट नहीं है. सो व्हेनेवर यू आर मेकिंग ग्रुप्स, पहली चीज तो आप हमेशा याद रखिए क्लोज फ्रेंड्स को कभी ग्रुप में नहीं डालना चाहिए. आइडियली क्लोज फ्रेंड्स शुड नॉट बी इन द ग्रुप, बिकॉज वो बाकी अगर आपका 5 का ग्रुप है और 2 क्लोज फ्रेंड्स होंगे तो बाकी 3 जो हैं वो मुश्किल में पड़ सकते हैं, because they too will be very close, so they'll be talking, they'll be discussing and others will be neglected. तो हमेशा कोशिश ये करिए कि आप अलग अलग तरह के बच्चों का, अलग अलग बच्चों का ग्रुप बनाएं and always make one leader of the group. It is very important to make a leader of the group, क्योंकि if there is no one to take responsibility, so they'll be like कि अगर कुछ गड़बड़ हुई या आप कुछ पूछना चाह रहे हैं तो they'll go away with that, किसने किया, उसने किया. So you should always have one group leader. And if any group is doing good or something, so as to motivate them, there should be some marks or stars or any praising thing you can use, like star chart hota hai classes mein somewhere, or marks you can give them to, or any recognition you can get. So that will be good for group activities, and it will actually help you to manage the class, because ये सबसे बड़ा मुश्किल टाइम हो जाता है कि when the groups are not working nicely and they keep on talking, class बहुत mismanaged दिखती भी है. So the groups need to be made very nicely, and you should always give a thought before actually putting people into one group. And monitor is very very important. A leader should always be there, and before giving the work or activity, you should always give some vocabulary or some clues to actually start the work. Because if you're not giving any clues or something, so it will be very difficult for them to actually understand how to do things, how to start the thing. So that is very important. I have seen in many places, many schools, and my school also, sometimes the class goes out of control. The teacher is not able to understand how to deal with those students. See, the very first thing, if the class is not listening to you, or the class is out of control, the very first, I'm sorry to say, but the very first thing is that the lesson is not planned properly. The quality of lesson plans is not according to the students, according to the class. So the quality of lesson plan need to be looked after and need to be designed in that way so that the class will be taking interest, or aids proper hone chahiye, the teaching aids, whatever you're using, or the activities you are in, uska साथ आप incorporate कर रहे हैं, that need to be taken care. And this happen in bigger students most of the time, like above seventh or eighth. So for that matter, bigger classes ke liye, it is very important to have certain rules. You should always tell the students far before कि अगर class में these are the rules for this thing, and students should be aware about the consequences. If the rule is broken, then they have to face this consequence. So that need to be told far before the class begins, or in the starting of the session, or um, but this need to be told. There should be certain rules. There should be a system uh, where you have laid down that these are the rules, and if these are broken, you have to face the consequences. And आप उसमें बिल बहुत strict रहेंगे. Be strict with the rules. Whatever rules you are laying down, you need to be very strict with them, because uh, students should know ki what are their limits. And if you're having proper rules laid down, students are aware about the consequences. The problem, I'm not saying that problem hogi hi nahi. The problems will be very less, and if there will be a problem, you'll be having a solution ready. आपके पास solution already ready होगा, because you have made the rules and the consequences already list. You have told the students, they are aware ki what they are going through if they'll be breaking the rules. And actually, it happened in bigger class. They're not using proper language, or they're not talking nicely with the fellow students or the teachers also. So these the rules which you are laying down will be very good for the teachers who are dealing bigger students, because if you're not having any rules or any consequences told to them, then they will always be taking advantage of that. So this is very important to have actually certain rules for those students, the whole class. Up now I'll tell you कि there's one problem और होती है bigger classes में, that there are few students who don't speak much, जो बोलते नहीं हैं. um, either they are good in studies or not, but they don't speak much. So for that matter, to motivate them, those students, you can always set them in a pair. Pair में आप उन्हें set करिए, so that they'll be able to handle the questions, activity, whatever you are planning in the class, and they want them they you want them to be a part of it. But because they are very shy and they don't talk much, they're not able to participate, and you can always set them in a pair with the child who can help them, like buddy. You can always make buddies in the class who can help such students. Or you can try role playing, or you can always help them to complete their work, or uh, so it will help those shy students to actually come out of the shell. Yeah, the buddy thing is nicely working in the schools. There are students who work as buddies for few students. Ki, haan, they can always go to them and then ask, because it is sometimes it is very difficult for those students to go to the teacher and ask again and again. But they can ask that buddy. That you have to help them with. You have to set a buddy with them so that they can always ask them to uh, understand their problem or solve that. So that is very important. Then one problem, because now there are many of the schools which are there in the rural or semi-rural areas, or there are students who are actually coming far from far places to actually study in the towns. So what the problem which we people are facing, or the teacher is facing, is कि they speak in their native language. वो अपने जो local language है उसमें बात करते हैं. So I have seen people to tell them कि ऐसा नहीं करना है, या कुछ strict rules होते हैं, या whatever. But I think is कि you should tell them that native language is very important. Region, वो अपने region की अपने local language बोल रहे हैं. It is not bad actually. It is not bad to actually use that. But you should tell them कि that is a reason why स्कूल हैज अ यूनिफॉर्म, क्योंकि यहाँ यूनिफॉर्मिटी की जरूरत है. कोई कहाँ से बिलोंग करता है, नो मैटर व्हाट, कहाँ से बिलोंग करता है, यहाँ सबको बराबर इक्वल इक्वल समझ के, एक ही जगह का समझ के, एक ही तरह का समझ के पढ़ाया जाएगा. और they'll be getting the knowledge, studies, they'll be given opportunities very equally, rather than कि वो कहाँ से belong करते हैं. So for that reason only, we expect them to actually speak in the common language the other children are speaking. If it is an English class, you have to speak in English. If it is a Hindi class, you have to speak in Hindi. So that need to be told very politely, because it is a very sensitive topic. I have seen people actually very hurt with that when they have told that there is a rule not to speak in other language. So rather, though there are things they need to follow, but how you actually tell them to do it, it is very important for bigger students, especially because this is the age. Teenage is the time where you have to handle them very carefully, and if you want them to do something, you have to go like their way only, कि वो समझ जाएं और वो करें. So this is very very important, because this problem I've seen at many places. So you need to tell them that there are things we need to follow in the school, rather than being a little strict or something. You need to be very polite to them, and then tell them ki, हाँ, this is the way you need to do things. So this is all about class management from my side. There are so many challenges which actually I wanted to share with you all. And I think being a teacher, it is very important. So this is what I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your ideas. And
Thank
we have a few questions. We have a
Sure.
few questions. So there is Mr. or I know Ms. Shiva Rajani, right? She happens to be a big fan of yours, I think. So she's
Okay.
asked you a question. If 50 students are there in a class, how do you give them attention?
See, yes, there are situations when we people teachers are having 30, 40, 50 students, but it is always advisable, if there are a larger group of students, you can always divide them in group or sections. Like you have taught something, then one group will be asking questions, creating questions, and other group will be answering. So it will be and this I have exercised myself, and it was a real success. So set some rules before you are starting this exercise, and it will always work with 50 students.
And Mona Gupta asks if you have any tips for online classes. I guess she means classroom management.
Yeah, on for online classes, see, as I've told you, for bigger students, online classes, the rules need to be laid down very fast for online classes, because there are so many tricks students are actually uh, exercising to trouble teachers. So this need to be very clear. What is the reason why we people are having online classes, and students need to understand how there are these rules need to be followed, and this is my advice, कि if the child is not willing to be a part of the class or troubling others, so this is very convenient to actually keep that child aside from the online classes. But for online classes, I advise that the class need to be very impressive and very good and very fruitful for the child. Then only the child will be stick to it, and add few fun questions or fun facts in between. It always works.
Thank you, ma'am. And Shiva Ranjani, let me tell you that you will not be getting a certificate for watching this. If you do participate, we'll give you a certificate. Till then, for being just passive and asking a few questions, you do not get certificates. Certificates are earned. Thank you.
Fine.
Okay, ma'am. So, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
yeah. So we'll be signing off now from GETI with another, thank you to Asha Kiran ma'am, as well as our mentor, Dr. Sunita Gandhi. And she really has been very, very helpful and a mentor in providing this particular platform of disruptive education. And till then, thank you so much. Goodbye. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.